echoes where people seek shelter, seek warmth, seek connection against the storm's relentless embrace. Each droplet carries the power to change, to soften hard edges, to blur the boundaries between one world and another. Water streams down glass storefronts, creating liquid curtains that distort reality, that make ordinary scenes appear impressionistic, magical. The city's harsh geometry softens under rain's gentle insistence. Concrete becomes mirrors, metal becomes prisms, ordinary pavement becomes canvas for reflected light to paint temporary masterpieces that exist only as long as the storm permits, as long as the moment allows, as long as hearts remain open to unexpected beauty. The sound of rain against city surfaces creates complex symphony, droplets striking glass with crystalline percussion, water flowing through gutters and rushing crescendos, tires hissing across wet asphalt like whispered secrets, footsteps splashing through puddles and rhythms that speak of human urgency, human vulnerability. Each sound layered until the entire urban landscape hums with liquid music, with nature's patient insistence that even steel and concrete can be made beautiful, can be made softer, can be made more welcoming to connection, to the magic that happens when weather forces strangers to acknowledge each other's presence. Dark clouds hang low over the city like protective blankets, promising more rain, promising extended shelter seeking, promising the particular intimacy that develops when humans huddle together against elements beyond their control. The air itself becomes thick with moisture, with possibility, with the electric tension that precedes significant weather, significant change, significant moments when ordinary rules suspend themselves to make room for magic. Wind begins to move through urban canyons with increasing purpose, catching loose papers, lifting fallen leaves, creating small whirlwinds that dance between buildings like nature's celebration of its power to disrupt, to rearrange, to force adaptation. The temperature drops just enough to make warmth precious, to make shelter valuable, to make human contact not just pleasant, but necessary for the basic happiness that comes from not facing challenges alone. Windows begin to fog, with the contrast between warm interiors and cool exterior air. People inside cafes press faces against glass, watching the storm develop, watching others navigate the increasingly difficult conditions. Some venture out with umbrellas, with the confidence that comes from being prepared. Others dart between doorways, seeking the small mercies that cities offer when weather makes individual self-sufficiency impossible. The cafe door opens with gentle chime, releasing warmth and the rich scent of coffee and baked goods into always feel special, feel deliberately chosen, rather than accidentally endured. Her coat buttons tightly against the increasing wind. Wool fabric providing barrier against elements, but inadequate protection against rain that is intensified beyond what umbrella-less confidence could navigate. Her scarf already shows signs of dampness. Dark spots appearing where optimism meets reality, where preparation proves insufficient for actual conditions. She moves with the particular gait of someone caught unprepared, not quite running but faster than walking, not quite panicked but definitely concerned. Each step creates small splash as her shoes encounter puddles that formed faster than city drainage could accommodate. The paper bag clutched against her chest represents more than breakfast, represents the attempt to maintain normal pleasure, normal domestic comfort despite circumstances that demand adaptation, willingness to accept help from unexpected sources. Under the sturdy protection of bookstore awning, Thea watches the street transform into theater, into stage where human dramas of preparation and improvisation play out in real time. His umbrella rests beside him, large and reliable, the kind of equipment that suggests forethought, suggests someone who has learned from experience, who has developed wisdom about urban weather, about the importance of being prepared, not just for oneself, but for the possibility of helping others. The bookstore window behind him glows with warm yellow light, displaying volumes that promise escape from weather. But his attention remains focused on the street, on the particular vulnerability that weather creates, that strips away pretense, that reveals character, that creates opportunities for connection that wouldn't exist under normal circumstances. When Amelia passes, her struggle evident in every step, in every attempt to minimize exposure while maintaining forward progress. Something in her determined vulnerability touches him, moves him beyond passive observation toward active assistance, toward the recognition that his comfort could be shared, that small acts of kindness cause nothing but create immeasurable connection in a world that often feels too indifferent, too focused on individual survival rather than collective flourishing. His voice carries through the rain's percussion with clarity born of genuine concern, of immediate recognition that here stands opportunity to help, to connect. The offer comes without calculation, without expectation of reciprocation, with simple understanding that umbrellas are meant to be shared when sharing becomes necessary, when human decency requires action rather than mere sympathy. Amelia's response reveals the quick humor that emerges in some people when faced with unexpected kindness, the ability to find lightness even in discomfort, the particular grace that allows acceptance of help without loss of dignity. Her laughter acknowledges both the absurdity of the situation and the sweetness of the solution. strangers sometimes prove more reliable than weather, more generous than circumstances seem to warrant. The negotiation about sharing shelter becomes a delicate dance of consideration, of ensuring that help doesn't create new problems, doesn't transfer burden from one person to another. The conversation reveals compatibility of values, shared understanding, that cooperation provides better solutions than individuals struggle. That umbrella large enough for two creates possibility for connection that individual umbrellas cannot sustain long enough for deeper appreciation to develop. The moment they step under shared protection, the world changes scale, becomes smaller, becomes defined by the circle of dryness that surrounds them, rather than a vast, wet city beyond. The umbrella creates mobile private space, moving cocoon, traveling bubble of intimacy, where physical proximity enables emotional proximity in ways that ordinary circumstances rarely permit. Their shoulders brush with natural frequency, creating contact that feels both accidental and inevitable, both casual and significant. The paper bag crinkles between them, providing gentle percussion that harmonizes with rain drumming overhead, with their synchronized footsteps, with the quiet sounds of two people learning to move together, learning to accommodate each other's pace, each other's natural rhythm, each other's needs within confined shared territory. The world outside their umbrella becomes impressionist painting, all soft edges and blended colors, rain creating curtain that obscures distant objects while making immediate surroundings more vivid, more important, more worthy of attention. The conversation develops naturally, easily, with the particular intimacy that shared vulnerability creates. They discover compatible approaches to humor, to observation, to the gentle philosophy that emerges when people slow down enough to notice beauty in what might otherwise be dismissed as mere inconvenience. The familiar streets reveal different personalities under rain's influence, harsh angles softened by water's patient work, neon signs becoming ethereal through rain-streaked windows, ordinary storefronts transformed into galleries where light and reflection create temporary art. The city demonstrates its capacity for beauty when weather forces new perspectives, new recognition of elements usually overlooked in the rushing toward destinations that matters less than the quality of journey between them. Puddles serve as mirrors, reflecting sky, reflecting light, reflecting the faces of those brave enough or kind enough to venture out together. The sound of water running through gutters creates urban river system, temporary geography that will disappear when storm passes, but for now provides soundtrack. The particular music that cities make when nature asserts its presence, its insistence that human constructions remain beautiful in ways that planned architecture cannot achieve alone. Other pedestrians hurry past, some wheel umbrellas like shields, others accepting soaking with resignation. Under their shared shelter, Amelia and Theo become observers of this urban theater. They reach park where trees offer additional shelter, branches heavy with accumulated moisture, but still providing canopy that supplements umbrella protection, creates a layered defense against rain's persistence. The tree they choose has widespread, mature trunk, the stability of years of weathering storms. Under its protection, their umbrella becomes redundant, but they maintain its intimate circumference, maintain the closeness it enabled, the connection it fostered. Amelia's observation about rain's beauty when not cursed reveals philosophical shift, reveals the way companionship changes perspective, makes challenges appear as opportunities rather than obstacles. Her willingness to find beauty in difficulty suggests someone who has learned that appreciation transforms experience more effectively than complaint, that sharing observations doubles pleasure while having burden. Theo's response about everything being beautiful when not rushed past demonstrates compatible worldview, shared understanding that speed often prevents appreciation, that slowing down reveals details, reveals connections, reveals possibilities that haste obscures. Their exchange becomes philosophical without pretension, deep without heaviness, meaningful without requiring commitment, beyond present moment, beyond shared appreciation of unexpected gift. That storm is provided, that their willingness to help each other is fostered. The quiet that settles between them carries weight of mutual recognition, of growing attraction, of possibility that extends beyond storm's duration. The silence feels full rather than empty, charged rather than awkward, promising rather than concerning. They watch puddles receive raindrops like thousands of small applause, like nature's approval of their connection, their discovery of compatibility that began with practical necessity, but evolved into genuine desire to extend contact beyond circumstantial requirement. The rhythm of rain creates natural percussion for their developing relationship, provides timing that allows conversation to develop organically, provides pauses for the gradual recognition that something special might be emerging from ordinary evening, ordinary storm, ordinary kindness that proved extraordinary in its timing, its opening toward possibility neither anticipated when day began. Their bodies have learned to move together under shared umbrella, learned to anticipate each other's movements. The learning process has created intimacy, has created trust, has created foundation for deeper connection if both choose to nurture what has begun, to risk the vulnerability that lasting connection demands, that love, when it appears, insists upon despite fear, despite all reasonable caution that usually prevents strangers from becoming precious, becoming irreplaceable. As they resume walking, their synchronization becomes more natural, more unconscious, more like partnership than cooperation. Theo's adjustment of umbrella angle to protect her from wind-driven rain happens automatically. It demonstrates attention that has moved beyond politeness toward genuine care, toward the consideration that emerges when someone becomes important, becomes worthy of small sacrifices that don't feel like sacrifice, because her comfort contributes to his happiness in ways that individual satisfaction cannot match. Her notice of his gesture, her appreciation for consideration she didn't request but needed, reveals growing attention to his character, his generosity, his natural tendency toward thoughtfulness that suggests someone who pays attention, who finds satisfaction in making difficult situations more bearable through presence, through willingness to prioritize shared welfare over individual convenience. The conversation about proper thanks, about rain never stopping, about continuing to walk together indefinitely, moves from practical to playful to genuinely romantic, reveals mutual desire to extend contact, to find reasons for continued companionship. Her laughter in response to a suggestion carries warmth that has nothing to do with shelter, everything to do with recognition, with growing affection that transforms practical cooperation into emotional connection, into romantic possibility, into invitation to discover what two compatible souls might create together given time, attention, mutual willingness to explore potential that has revealed itself through serendipity, disguised as weather emergency. The quiet square emerges from rain-blurred streets like stage prepared for significant scene. Lanterns glowing with diffused warmth, creating atmosphere that suggests romance, suggests privacy, suggests the kind of setting where important conversations happen, where connections deepen, where hearts reveal themselves. The emptiness of streets creates privacy within public space, creates sense of being alone together in a city that usually offers no solitude. The storm has cleared normal evening foot traffic, has created temporary sanctuary where they can be themselves without audience, without social pressure that might otherwise prevent authentic expression of growing attraction. Under umbrella that has become more simple than practical necessity, more excuse for closeness than protection from elements, they face each other with full attention, with conscious recognition that moment has arrived for decision, for choice, about whether to acknowledge what has been building, whether to risk expressing what has been growing, whether to transform friendly cooperation into whatever their mutual attraction might become when freed from restraint, from all reasonable fear of disappointment. Amelia's turn toward full engagement, her willingness to face him directly rather than maintaining parallel focus on shared walking, signals readiness for different kind of interaction, intimacy, different quality of attention that moves beyond practical cooperation toward personal appreciation, toward acknowledgement that what is developed between them deserves recognition, deserves exploration, deserves whatever courage intimate expression requires. Her touch, brushing water droplet from his sleeve, provides excuse for contact while creating invitation for more, demonstrates desire for physical connection while maintaining plausible casual explanation, allows both to gauge response, to assess mutual interest, to discover whether attraction flows both directions with sufficient strength to support risk, to support the particular exposure that comes with allowing someone to matter, to create joy through their presence. The lingering quality of her touch, the way contact extends beyond practical necessity, communicates invitation more clearly than words, communicates readiness for him to respond, to demonstrate whether her growing feelings find echo in his experience, whether their shared evening has created similar desire for contact that transcends casual encounter towards something more significant, more worthy of the risk that opening heart always demands. Theo's approach carries reverence, appropriate to significant moments, to choices that will be remembered, to experiences that mark transition from casual acquaintance to intimate connection. His slowness demonstrates respect for her autonomy, for her need to feel seen as a complete person. The gradual closing of distance allows time for second thoughts, for the natural caution that protects hearts from premature vulnerability. Pause. When their lips meet, the kiss carries gentleness born of mutual respect, of recognition that this moment matters. The contact begins tentatively, explores compatibility, discovers mutual desire for deeper connection. The rain continues around them, but becomes irrelevant, becomes nature's approval of their choice to risk, to trust, to allow attraction to find physical expression despite all logical arguments for maintaining safe distance between hearts. The kiss deepens naturally, organically, as both discover that touch expresses what words struggle to communicate, that intimacy feels right rather than rushed, feels safe rather than reckless. Her hand rising to his chest, his finding her waist, creates complete circuit of connection, mutual embrace that acknowledges equal participation, that this moment belongs to both equally, choice made together rather than advance granted by one to another. The umbrella tilts, allowing rain to slip past its protection, but neither notices because the kiss has created different kind of shelter, different kind of warmth that makes physical comfort secondary to the more pressing need for connection, for expression of feelings that have grown beyond anything external circumstances could adequately explain. The rain that touches their faces feels like blessing, like nature's participation in their romance, like approval from forces larger than individual choice. attraction, by successful crossing of threshold from strangers to intimates, to develop into something lasting built on foundation of kindness, mutual attention, shared appreciation for beauty that emerges when people slow down enough to notice, trust enough to share, when they separate, when breathing becomes necessary, their foreheads remain touching, their breath continues mingling, their connection continues through proximity, through choice, to remain close rather than retreat to safer individual distances. The separation is reluctant, temporary, preparation for whatever comes next, rather than conclusion of what is past. Their eyes, when they open, carry new knowledge, new appreciation, new understanding of compatibility that extends beyond casual attraction towards something more substantial, more worthy of continued exploration, continued willingness to discover what two people who find each other deserving of care might create together given time. Mutual commitment to each other's flourishing. Amelia's whispered comment about umbrella sharing becoming her favorite tradition acknowledges what has shifted, what possibility has been revealed through their evening together. Her words carry humor, but also genuine recognition that what began as practical necessity has evolved into romantic preference, into understanding that best experiences often emerge from willingness to help strangers, from readiness to recognize opportunity disguised as inconvenience. Theo's response about making umbrella sharing their tradition complete circuit of mutual commitment, of agreement to prioritize connection over individual safety, growing affection that feels both sudden and inevitable, both surprising and natural, both risky and absolutely right, given their compatible approaches to kindness, generosity, finding beauty in challenging circumstances, their continuing laughter, their obvious pleasure in each other's company, their easy conversation that flows without effort, suggests potential for relationship that could develop beyond initial attraction towards sustainable partnership built on genuine compatibility, genuine mutual respect, genuine appreciation for each other's character as revealed through crisis, through opportunity for selfishness that was rejected in favor of generosity, through all small tests that suggest whether initial attraction rests on foundation capable of supporting lasting love. They continue walking through rain-transformed city, still close beneath shared umbrella, but now by choice rather than necessity, still moving toward destinations that matter less than companionship, still navigating storm that has become excuse for extended time together rather than obstacle to overcome. Their footsteps synchronize completely now. Their shared space feels natural rather than negotiated, feels chosen rather than imposed by circumstances, feels like preview of partnership that could develop if both choose to nurture what has begun. The city around around them remains vast, remains complex, remains full of separate lives pursuing separate goals. But beneath their umbrella, within their mobile sanctuary, it feels intimate, feels full of possibility for two people who have discovered they can create warmth together, can make challenging circumstances not just bearable but beautiful through mutual care, mutual willingness to prioritize shared happiness over individual certainty. As rain continues its patient work of transformation, of making hard city surfaces soft, of making ordinary evening magical, Amelia and Theo discover that storm has given them more than shelter from weather, has given them reason to slow down, to pay attention, to discover compatibility that might never have emerged under normal circumstances, under ordinary interactions that rarely permit rapid trust, rapid willingness to care about someone whose character has been revealed through kindness, through generosity, through ability to find joy in mutual discovery of what two people can create when weather, when chance, when openness to possibility creates space for love to begin its quiet, patient, transformative work